Welcome to week 4 of the Zombies vs. Zombies event. And here's the final prize, the Zombie Incinerator, with 4 damage, 3 range, 4 accuracy, and 1 agility. And now one thing I'm going to bring up, normally for this event, you have to defeat 500 zombies for the last tier, which is what the previous 3 weeks had. To get the final tier done on this week, you need to kill 1,000, on top of all the others. So, I just thought I'd mention that in case you didn't think it's worth it, which it is definitely worth it. Now, it's an upgrade of an older paid weapon, which is just the regular incinerator, which has 3 damage, 4 range, 4 accuracy, and 2 agility. And it is so much better than the regular one. There are 2 downsides compared to the regular incinerator, which also apply to this thing in general. The ammo capacity, which is pretty low, considering its rate of fire, and the movement speed, which is probably the bigger one. Now, if I go into this map, just going to use missions to demonstrate the mechanics. It does set people on fire, damaging them over time, and reducing and making them take increased damage by 20% for the duration of the effect, and that's how quickly it kills people. That is how quickly it kills people. Now, this is definitely more of a stationary weapon, because, well, the movement speed is sluggish. I only have 5 agility, but its movement speed is absolutely sluggish. Oh look, Whiplash is here. Let's see how good it is at killing him. This guy... Oh, stop. Stop. Burn. Burn! Anyway. Capacity of 45. Quite a quick reload. Kills people in like 5 or 6 shots. You will probably fire too many. Unless you have very good trigger discipline. Probably don't. And unlike its brethren, the Incinerator, it has auto-aim, which is not something you would expect, especially considering it doesn't even have a crosshair. But I've made sure of it, it has auto-aim. It locks onto them, which does mean it requires less skill, per se, than the original, which didn't, but honestly, it requires no less than any other weapon, other than the ones that don't have auto-aim. And just burn Whiplash to a crisp. Holy moly. You know how big of a health buff that guy has? It's like a 240% health buff. And he still gets murdered in seconds. And it's just ridiculous how powerful this weapon is. Like, it's probably up there with the most powerful fire weapons, probably second to the Fire Spitter. And probably also one of the most powerful heavy machine guns. It probably has its own subcategory, honestly, because it functions very differently from most of them. But you've got infinite range, decent auto-aim, a ridiculous DPS, and on top of that, you can set people on fire. And it is zombie tagged and fire type. So in zombie mode, it annihilates people. I will demonstrate that, but first, multiplayer performance, which is also insane. Like, everyone has aristocrat shotguns at the moment because of the rent, and I'm holding up. Like, it's actually holding against aristocrat shotguns everywhere. The aristocrat widely being considered the most overpowered weapon in the game. And if this, it just, look at that. Completely wrecking everyone. Now, unlike a lot of heavy machine guns, you are going to have to duck into cover to reload a lot. Look at that. blunderbuss and an aristocrat shotgun. Shut down. No problem. Ouch. Yeah, that's probably going to be one of the things that does shut you down. Explosives. You can't move. You can't dang move. Even if you had, like, maxed agility, this thing would probably go very slowly. So, explosives are probably going to be your bane. Too fast for you. I don't need to be fast. I've got a flame laser. You ask Digital Legends to make a flamethrower and they give you a laser beam. Okay, you know? Let's go with the explosives though. Laser! There we go. Not a problem. Well, yeah, explosives are a problem. Like, the movement speed is sluggish. This is more of a stationary, held-back weapon. Murdered an aristocrat. He was potatoing, but still. And I still got him. He used a medkit there. And the burning still killed him? What damage did I do to that guy? Look at that. Crossed the dang map and murdered him after he went behind cover. The actual damage from the poison effect, from the burning effect, is generally weaker than poison. But it lasts longer, and it does make them take 20% more damage from everything while they're on fire. Which is definitely neato, because it means that after the first shot connects, you pretty much just do 20% more damage. Now, I don't know if that was the death grenade or burning or something, but anyway, he's dead. Die, blunderbuss. Yep, this is definitely an extremely powerful weapon. That guy's got a bow out. Not sure what he's trying to do with it. Okay, looks like there is a limit to its range. It's definitely a far range, but if I could respawn... No, migrating host. And here we go. That's another one before not gens. See, 17 and 6. Easy. Not even an issue. So, let's jump into another match. Maybe yeah. Try and free for all. Oh boy, this is where all the tryhards hang out. Oh, we got a long range one. Yes. This weapon is definitely going to suit camping, sadly. Well, sadly in some people's eyes. Probably good in other people's eyes. I don't know. It's slow movement speed, long range, high damage. It's just suited to camping. But doesn't mean you can't move around with it and do it like that. Let's just see how long this takes. Down to melt some fools. Woo! One thing is, you cannot tell when you're actually locked onto someone. Oh, okay. Okay, hunter rifle. Bow. Insta-kills. Insta-kills always going to be a problem. Still, you just keep on disintegrating fools. A new weapon in the first crap. Okay. Definitely hold its own up close. However, it will certainly Do you well at distance. He's gonna burn to death. Yep, burn to death. Reloads pretty quick. See, runs out of ammo. Let's find some people to kill. He tried to ambush me, I think. Didn't go well for him. Also, people who shoot with this get slowed down. And a bit sniped. So that's just another thing to add to the pile of stuff this weapon does. Definitely not a high mobility playstyle. Not necessarily camping, but you're not going to want to be running around. Because you're going to need cover to reload. How did he hit that? Okay, whatever. Probably dedicated his life to learning the hunting rifle. Won't stop the laser. Ow. Apparently a bow will. It's just a case of who shoots not first with that thing. Why did he do that? I didn't notice him. He could have just walked away. No, it isn't move. Ouch. That guy again. Oh, he missed. He missed. Ah, we're gonna moonwalk on him. Stupid, stupid game. Oh, what the? Okay then. You know what? You're not gonna beat a guy who's dedicated his life to hunting rifle. Oh, apparently someone else did that. Ow. Ow. Dang it. Okay then. 19 and 12. Not bad. Not bad at all. One thing left. And it's this thing's namesake. Zombie incinerating. Which, it definitely earned its title. Definitely. Opening that. Opening that. Opening that. Of course, the small capacity is definitely going to hinder as you try to disintegrate the undead. But it's still powerful. And its reload is actually quick, so it's not a problem. It's not a problem. Whew. Let's go. Let's go. Let's kill some zombies. Let's kill some zombies. Kill them. Kill them. Let's go. Let's go. It melts them so dang quickly. It's zombie tag and a fire weapon, so plus it just does a lot of damage by base statistics. So you can't expect anything less than this. But it's like as good or better than the fire spitter is in this mode. And one thing that does confuse me, as we melt this yellow guy, is that the zombies, they take more damage from fire effects, fire weapons, but, like, they're immune to the fire effect. Status effect, they're immune to fire. Like, that guy's not being set on fire. It's so odd. Why do they take more damage from fire and yet are immune to being set on fire? It just makes no sense. We burn them up, burn them up, burn them up, burn them up. Definitely powerful in this mode. It definitely earned its name. Might even be the best weapon for this game mode. Fire Spitter is obviously the other contender, as it does. You could probably think of this thing as the Fire Spitter's hulking big brother. Its biggest upside compared to a Fire Spitter is probably the fact that it has a lot more range. You can just take people down from afar. Obviously, the agility limit also means that's probably going to be a lot of kills are going to come from distance. Let's go. Yeah, kill the yellow guy before the fire spitter guy could. Simply put, it's amazing in zombie mode. No questions about it. As of tips for the weapon, don't try and run and gun. Reload at every opportunity. And try and stick to medium and long range combat. It will kill stuff at short range easily, but there are a lot of things that can compete a lot better at short range. So it's probably better to try and keep your distance at the distances where it just dominates the competition. So yeah, this is probably one of the most powerful weapons that they've put in an event. Like, not counting like paid weapons like the Aristocrat and the Flare Gun we'll put in the Summer Camp event, not counting stuff like that, this is probably one of, if not the most powerful event weapon of all time. Just look at this. It's awfully fitting that the event it comes from, it dominates in. But it's just so good. It's just so good. Like, there are no words to describe this. Like, if you're used to paid weapons, this is probably on par. And if you're used to being a free player, then this is just gonna destroy. And if you like heavy machine guns, well, it doesn't really have the same feel to it, but it still is one by the game's definition, apparently. Vanished. Okay. So, definitely good weapon. Die. Incinerating zombies, as the title suggests. It definitely earned said title. I was not expecting this thing to have auto-aim, but it does, and it shows. If it hadn't, it probably wouldn't have been nearly as good, but as it stands, it's just plain ridiculous. It is just plain ridiculous. Now look at that. You've seen this thing in multiplayer. It just destroys. It just destroys. If it's worth getting, yes it is. Yes it is. It is definitely worth getting. Like, even with the 500 extra zombies you have to kill to actually get the thing, It's so good. It's so good. Like it's ridiculous. Ow. Dang it. Ah. I need lack of situational awareness. You will see I am reloading a lot, and not all of them are, like, by choice reloads. A lot of them are out of ammo kind of reloads, which you're gonna need to do a lot there. You just need to reload at every possible opportunity. But definitely worth getting. Definitely. There's no question that anyone who can get this thing should. And I didn't even have a fire weapon or a zombie weapon to try and get this with. I still managed it. And it is so good. It's so good. I don't have words to describe this thing. The only thing I have that comes remotely close to the power of this dang thing is the Maskelion. Even then, this thing is in some competition. But that's pretty much it. Yeah. So that's all, and until next time, see ya!